You're watching BBC Choice Digital Television from the BBC. But if you can't tell your EPGs from your DTTs, worry not, because the Tomorrow's World team is here to explain.
Hello and welcome to the future, the digital future. Stand by for our trusted guide to the world of digital television, a world that nobody knows better than techno-whiz Lindsey Fallow. Small but perfectly informed.
For the first time you're tuned into the TV technology of the future. It means better reception and clearer pictures, but a whole lot more besides.
Indeed, we'll be showing you the way in which digital television will transform the way we watch television. It's a confusing world, the world of digital, full of mumbo-jumbo and strange technology.
So we'll be sweeping away the jargon and revealing the facts, plus I'll be helping one family take the Tomorrow's World Digital Challenge. Can they set themselves up with digital television in their own home for the first time?
We'll also be looking at the way digital television allows you to interact with your TV. For the first time, you'll be choosing the programmes you want to watch when you want to watch them. No more couch potatoes.
And we'll be chatting to DJ Kevin Greening about how the digital revolution could change the face of entertainment.
But first, what are the questions you have about digital television? Lindsey has the answers.
I'm on London's Tottenham Court Road, surrounded by electronics retailers just dying to flog you the latest kit and get you to go digital. The thing is, are we all digital savvy, or are we still trying to sort our bits from our bytes? Is there anything you want to know about digital television?
Well, yes. What is digital television?
Good question. What is digital television? Well, to find out, I've come to the home of BBC Digital Television. This is where digital BBC One, digital BBC Two, and of course BBC Choice are transmitted from. This is the Choice office in here. Now, the real difference between analogue television and digital television is in the way that the information which makes up the television picture is stored and then moved. With analogue television, we turn that information and that picture into a wave. And the problem with this is that when we transmit a wave, it can get distorted like this, which means that the wave that reaches you and the information isn't quite the same shape as the wave that left here. Bring on the digital, because with digital television, even if it gets distorted like this, as long as the numbers and the order of those numbers that reach you are exactly the same, then the picture you get at home is every bit as good as the picture that left here.
So what's so good about digital TV?
Well, for starters, you won't get any of this. It's called ghosting, and it's really annoying, and it's happening because my aerial up there is picking up the direct broadcast analogue signal and a reflection which is coming off of that building there. That's called interference, and you don't get it with digital television, which is great because your receiver can tell the difference between the original signal broadcast and any reflections. No interference, no ghosting, better pictures, better sound.
Is it the same as satellite?
Not really, no, because digital television is going to be available in three forms, which are satellite, terrestrial and cable. This is Crystal Palace, one of dozens of transmitter towers around the UK. It's been transmitting ordinary analogue signals for ages, but now it's transmitting the digital signals as well, coming from those strange pod-like things on the top of the tower. This is the transmitter that's pumping out analogue BBC One. It's 80 kilowatts of greasy, chunky, steam-cooled 1960s engineering. And this is the digital equivalent. Now, all over the country, transmitters are being upgraded with neat little boxes like this. Once the digital terrestrial network is complete, you'll be able to pick up to 30 different channels, some of them free and some of them on subscription. Another option is digital satellite. Now, this will allow you to receive at least 200 different channels. And just like normal satellite, you need a dish pointed in the right direction to be able to receive it. Now, this is the BBC's dish, but fortunately, you can make do with one that's a little bit more modest. The final option for some is digital cable. Now, whether or not you can get this depends on your local cable operator, but more and more cable companies are going digital. The real key is that whichever method you choose, be that terrestrial, satellite or cable, You also need a bit of kit to interpret the signal for your television. Unfortunately, at least at first, these don't look like they're going to be interchangeable.
Well, now this is what Lindsay's talking about. This is the stuff you need at home to receive digital television. Now first, here's a typical digital terrestrial television receiving setup. There's the set-top box, the thing you have to pay for. On top of your ordinary television set, you don't have to change that for the moment, and your aerial, ordinary set-top aerial like this, or the one on the roof should do perfectly well. If it's one of those rusty old coat hangers, it's probably worth changing that. And in some regions, you may need to have a wide band aerial to receive a wider range of frequencies. So that's digital terrestrial. Another way of doing digital terrestrial is to have this socking great new integrated television set for digital, but it is very expensive. It probably will come down in price, but it does have the bonus of the widescreen thrown in. More about that a bit later on. Now, digital satellite television. Well, here's the set-top box, a different one, of course, for satellite. They're all different, all three different, and you have to pay for that as well. The dish is half the size of the existing dish, but this dish will receive free channels, BBC channels, Channel 4, Channel 5, not at the moment planned to pick up Channel 3 ITV. And finally, digital cable television. Again, set-top box. This is different to the other ones, but you should get this on your subscription. Now, existing cables should work perfectly well for most people, but in some areas they may have to be upgraded. So, what will it all cost? A digital terrestrial set-top box will cost around £200, plus a monthly subscription, which will start from under £10. An integrated set will cost at least £1,000, but nothing else to pay for the free channels. A satellite system will cost £200 for new subscribers, with subscriptions from £6.99 a month. Cable prices will be similar to analogue cable, around £15 per month.
So, having forked out your hard-earned cash, just how difficult is it to get it all to work? We find out as our pioneering family take up the challenge. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Inside this box is the magic piece of kit we need to receive a digital terrestrial transmission. But just how difficult is it to tame the technology? We find out as the Omisori family take up our challenge. Right, guys, you ready to be our guinea pigs? We have here for you. This is one of the very first prototype set-top boxes that actually works. To give you an idea of what digital television is all about. So how much do you already know about digital television?
Not a lot.
Not a lot? Any of you guys?
No.
Yes, I do.
I don't know anything.
But you know that it's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you guys loose on this and see whether or not you can get it to work. Right, who's in charge?
Me.
She can be in charge, yeah.
You're in charge.
Toppy can be in charge, you know.
Toby can be in charge. Okay,
Yeah.
Toby, you're in charge. Take it away, guys.
Yes.
The task for the Omisori family is to tune into the digital terrestrial test signals being beamed from Crystal Palace.
It's just electrical adapter, yeah?
Tough on the end.
Yes. Hope we get the signal.
Cool. A moment of truth. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wicked. Right, well, let's have a look at exactly what we've done here to make it all work. I'm hugely impressed. Yeah. So we've got a SCART cable.
Yeah.
That's going into the back of your television, just like you'd run it from your video.
Yeah.
And then we've got the normal antenna, this coming down from your rooftop aerial.
Yep.
And that's going into the antenna input on the back of there. And you got it plugged in, and that's it. So what do you think about the picture?
It's clear.
It's clear. Good reception. It is a pretty good picture, isn't it? Do you think all the people look a bit tall and skinny?
Yeah, they do actually.
You're right, actually. I wasn't really thinking about that, but I know that those things are usually quite long, isn't it? But they seem quite a bit longer than...
I know, they look extremely tall and skinny. I think that might be because it's being broadcast in widescreen. We're watching it on a normal TV.
Screen.
Right, let's see then if you can work out how to get it in widescreen. Should we go for installation?
Installation?
Type of connected TV, right? We're not watching on a 16:9. We're watching on a 4:3. Oh, the Queen looks kind of normal now, doesn't she? Instead of a bit tall and stretched out. I think actually I'd quite like to be broadcasting widescreen on a normal television. Make me look taller and thinner. So, guys, you seem to have been fairly successful. In fact, very successful. How difficult was it?
To plug it all in, it was pretty easy.
Quite easy.
Yeah, just as easy as putting the video on.
Straightforward?
Yeah.
You can't open your mouth, can you? Yeah, it is straightforward.
They're receiving test transmissions which are going out at the moment. Proper digital terrestrial transmission should start towards the end of this year, with all the necessary equipment appearing in the shops very soon.
Coming up in our trusted guide, the interactive future of television. We look at the advances that will break down the contrasts between the television set and the computer.
And we talked to Radio 1's Kevin Greening about his digital future.
The screen. Lindsey tackles some more of your questions. But first, for 30 years now, Tomorrow's World has been looking at the significant and not so significant changes in television. And now, with the help of the Tomorrow's World archive, we look at how we got where we are today.
A few of you lookers may remember earlier experiments, transmitting moving pictures by wireless on the medium wave band.
Now for two things unusual on BBC One. The first is a television commercial, and the other you may see as we go along. Here's the commercial. As you see, it's the kind that appears on the other channel most nights, but what makes this film different from any other black and white is that you have just taken part in an historic moment on British television. Well, did you see it? Colour on a black and white system.
From black and white to the digital age, Tomorrow's World has brought the evolution of television to your screen. Not only experiments in colour, but the latest in high-tech home entertainment.
The battle to sell home video recorders is now stronger than ever. These are the new models. Many of them won't be on sale until this spring. And they will offer playing times of up to, in the case of this machine, 8 hours on one cassette of tape.
We revealed the true power of the VCR.
So, why not join us at home by lowering your lights as well? I'll commit ourselves on the record player to the music we can play quite legally, and as soon as it comes up, I'll wish you good night and say, here comes the music!
Hot on the heels of the video was the sophisticated world of video effects. The technology was moving faster than our technicians.
And finally, the latest technology from Japan. A television set which talks to you. At least it was, earlier on.
Watch from a distance for your eyes' sake.
Watch from a distance for your eyes' sake.
The talking telly wasn't the only major breakthrough.
It's no problem at all. Would I lie? I don't even have to lift my head off the pillow. The prism lenses on these mean although I'm looking up, I can actually see the TV down there. So, what's next?
Satellite. In 1982, Tomorrow's World predicted the TV space age.
Here in Britain, in a few years' time, it'll give you access to 5 satellite channels, 2 of which, as already announced, will be run by the BBC.
5 channels, 2 by the BBC. 4 years on, we were nearer the mark.
The competition is now on for greatly improved images on our screen. And those screens are about to explode with dozens of new channels. Channels which will reach us either by cable or by satellite.
Expectations were increasing, and on the 24th of January 1989, Tomorrow's World received the very first Astra satellite transmission.
Well, now, fingers crossed, we should get those first pictures coming in. There we are, and those first pictures are the control room of Astra headquarters in Luxembourg.
Not exactly compulsive viewing, but Tomorrow's World wasn't convinced by the opposition either.
This so-called squareal is still being developed and has yet to be put fully to the test.
The American cable TV experience left some Tomorrow's World presenters obviously unimpressed.
America, of course, already has round-the-clock news services, end-to-end old movies, and that's fine. But nude chat shows and soft porn?
But cable had more to offer.
And now there's a new way we could control what we watch in the future, and that's interactive television. In fact, Britain's first interactive programme, a football match, goes out this Sunday to cable TV viewers in London.
Howard was enthused, though in 1993 perhaps a little premature.
And that's only a year or two away, and then interactive TV could let you take part in your favourite quiz show.
But none of these advances were as significant as this viewing revolution.
Strip back the outer layer from the cable and push the central wire into the plant. There, you have an extremely good aerial. And if this sounds silly, there's more to come, because rumour has it that with satellite being perhaps not too far away, don't go rushing out to buy a receiving dish. Think again, because they could well be replaced with the giant South American water lily, Victoria amazonica.
Well, quite a few of those ideas were certainly way wide of the mark. But Lindsey, how can we be sure that the whole digital television thing won't be as much of a flop as a square reel was?
Well, there's one very good reason how we can be sure, and that is that it is inevitable. Analogue is going to be switched off. It's going to be over. They're going to switch it off, maybe not for 10, 15 years, certainly not till almost everybody can get digital television, but it's coming. There's no stopping it now.
So we're stuck with digital?
Stuck is the wrong word, Peter, because there's all sorts of opportunities that it's bringing with it for things that we've never experienced before on analogue television, and all the benefits of analogue. You know.
Opportunities, yes, OK, but still, people do have to face this very difficult decision-making process. They're faced with all these boxes and set-top boxes and types of telly and so on. It's quite an ordeal choosing, isn't it?
I don't see it really being any different from the situation we've got with analogue now, where you know, there are 3 systems, satellite, cable, terrestrial, running alongside each other. Nobody's going out of business. Cable isn't suddenly collapsing, satellite isn't suddenly collapsing. Digital will just be the same. It's just got, you know, more to offer, and so the differences perhaps between the services will be slightly more accentuated, but you know, each will still have its place in the market, and you just choose whichever one you want the most.
Well, one thing that digital will offer is the prospect of real interactive television. Television you don't just watch, but you actually control. The trouble is that however exciting television programs are, they're really a pretty passive business when it comes to watching. But I've been discovering that digital television is going to be a quite different kettle of fish. Interactivity is already being tried out here at the BBC Experience. They've taken some of the best-known TV programmes and put you in control, from the weather to drama. For example, you can direct your own episode of EastEnders. Now, here's a young man who's got control of 3 separate cameras, and it's a scene from EastEnders. Who have we got? It's Ricky, Phil and Grant, is it? Yes. That's it. Well done. So he's directing his own scene from EastEnders by selecting himself which camera to put out to the public. So how does it feel to be in control of a television episode of EastEnders?
Brilliant.
Good, is it?
Yep.
People certainly seem to enjoy interacting with TV. The question is, will experiences like this be possible in your own home? It may be sooner than you think. Here at the BBC's Bush House, they're already planning the sort of interactive services you can expect to see on your set within the next few months. And this is where they show off what they've achieved so far. Now, this box of tricks allows me to look, first of all, at interactive text. Now, at the moment, of course, you can get text on CFAX. What you can't get is pictures and graphics like these. So what I do is, if I want to hear about the news of the day, I press my little button here, I select news at the menu at the top here, press my select button, go for world news, and I select that. I want the second item, and it's now loading that. And here I see President Clinton with the Chinese leader in Beijing. A lot of information up here about the trade deal they're doing together. Now, I may want to go back and look at the weather for the day. So I go back to the menu at the top of the screen there. I wonder what's going to happen in the southwest tomorrow. And it's just loading that. And up comes a map of the southwest with 6 pages. So I can select the page I want, the 3rd page, by the time it's got to afternoon, and it's beginning to cloud over a bit. Now here I'm only able to look at graphics and text or the moving picture. What will happen one day, though, is I'll be able to put the moving picture on there with the graphics and text, that I can choose information about the picture as I'm watching the picture. For example, this is what Wimbledon would have looked like this year with full digital television. Now here we have a match going on here, and it's telling me it's the Sampras Corner match, but I've got a choice of other matches I can look at as well. So I can go down my menu here to the doubles match, and there they are playing doubles. And what's more, I can get some statistics about the match I'm looking at. Let's go back again to Sampras and have some statistics about that. It tells me 1 set, 6-4 to Sampras, and here it tells us all about the service breaks and goodness knows what else over here. But the match is playing in picture, in moving picture up here, while I'm asking for information about it over here. And the next stage is even more exciting. You can be your own director. Supposing you're watching the last night of the Proms, for example, on the BBC, you'll be able to select the camera angle that you look at the orchestra. You take a choice whether you watch the violins or the conductor or the first violins, second violins, or the wind instruments, whatever it is you want. And you simply select from a menu on the right-hand side which one you want to watch. Here I am watching the conductor, for example. It's my choice. All these systems work by sending out extra information along with the digital transmission. But according to Andrew Wallace from Pace Technology, the future lies in two-way interactivity.
There are two types of interactivity. The first one is rather like watching teletext. You may say what you want to see, but it comes to you in a predetermined fashion, a page or a video or a film. The second one is much more exciting. You communicate with the broadcaster. You say, I want to buy that piece of clothing. I want to influence which camera shot I have. I want to change what you're showing me. And for that you need a way to communicate with the broadcaster. You need a telephone line or you need cable television. And this opens up huge extra possibilities. The internet, surfing, shopping, banking, all of these new interactive services.
Already you can write emails and get the internet from your TV. A new system called Web TV allows you to combine the World Wide Web with TV channels. So our televisions are becoming more and more like our computers. The buzzword is convergence. The television and the computer will become one. And some of the best brains in the BBC are now working out what this means for television in the far future. What they've come up with is the ultimate in interactivity. No more schedules, no more listings. You pick what you want when you want it. Looking for a classic football match? Just pick your teams and the computer will find the game you're after. Call up a whole programme or watch your favourite clips. Comedy, drama, natural history. In this vision of the future, the whole of the BBC archive is at your disposal. Well, there's no doubt that all this interactivity means that the future for television is secure. But I'm afraid all those couch potatoes have had their chips.
Well, the technology may change, but the jokes certainly don't, do they? Now, all of that looked incredibly high-tech, but in reality, the capability for interactivity is already built into every set-top box in the back here. What we're waiting for is for the broadcasters to send down the extra interactive services, and the basic BBC Tech service should be available with the launch of digital terrestrial television. That's towards the end of this year.
And by the beginning of next year, some of those extra services, including text and television mixed up, they should be appearing too. Well, now Lindsey tackles some more of your questions. This time they're entirely on widescreen.
I've heard about widescreen television. What's that?
What is widescreen? Well, where better to illustrate the difference than the Odeon Leicester Square, where in 1953, British cinemagoers experienced widescreen for the very first time.
An ordinary TV screen is 4x3, that's 4 units wide and 3 units high. Widescreen gives you 30% more width and it's called 16:9. This is a widescreen picture, and as filmgoers already know, it gives you a much more involving experience.
Do you need a widescreen television set to have digital television?
If you want to watch widescreen television in all its panoramic glory, then a widescreen television set is the ideal way to do it. It lets you see the whole picture just as the director intended. But if you've got an ordinary set, don't worry. On your standard 4x3 set, you could choose to just watch the middle of the picture. Now, it looks great, but as you can see, you are missing out on a part of the picture. The other option is letterboxing. Effectively, we squash the picture so that it fits into your television screen. You get the whole width, but you have got those black bars top and bottom. It's your choice.
Will all the programmes be in widescreen?
I'm in the BBC archive, and we've got programmes here that go back right to the beginning of television. Now, all this stuff has been shot in 4x3, so any repeats we show, and also some of the new programmes, are still going to be in normal 4x3. However, films, and also an increasing percentage of the new programmes, are going to be in widescreen, and we're going to start with those areas that benefit most naturally. And that's things like sport, drama, and nature films.
Well, we've heard a lot about the technical side of digital television. What will it really mean for programme makers and for viewers? Well, now joining us is Kevin Greening, who's leaping from his Radio 1 breakfast show to a television show on this channel. Kevin, what will digital television offer you?
Well, we're bringing something new to BBC Choice, taking advantage of the new channel and the new format, something which is going to be called Inside Tracks, and every Sunday we will be taking the chart as it's announced and taking a journalistic approach to why records are in the charts the way they are. We're also going to exploit the fact that we have CD quality digital sound, and we're going to be taking bands into the legendary Maida Vale studios in North London, where so many excellent sessions have been recorded, and we'll have live bands doing doing very often their first session with CD quality sound coming out of your TV.
Fantastic. Is that because the sound that comes out of the engineer's desk will effectively be what comes into your television without being wrecked along the way by trees and transmission problems and things?
It's exactly that. It will be music you can afford to enjoy as loud as you want.
Excellent.
And what do you think digital television is really going to offer the viewer, more broadly? If you think of yourself as a viewer, what's it going to offer?
It's a very exciting time because we're going to get some very exclusive and exciting new channels. Some weird things are going to start to happen in as much as television will become even less of an event than it already has become. A process which started the very day TV went on air in 1936. But we're going to find, for instance, that if you go into a pub and say, did you watch the football last night? Lots of people will say yes, but maybe we'll all have watched different matches. Also, you come home from work, you watch a football match and see a goal, you ring a mate to say, wasn't that a great goal? And he says, well, thanks for spoiling it for me. I got home 15 minutes late today and I'm watching it a quarter of an hour behind you on another channel. I didn't want to know that.
What about the interactive side of it? Now, take your own show. How can the interactivity that digital offers help that show?
Well, the BBC is already looking at how it can bring interactivity into pop music, and indeed Top of the Pops has already looked at how you can bring the kind of graphics, the kind of information that they've been using in non-interactive TV on things like the ITV chart show and make that happen for real. So far it's only been pretend, but now you really will be able to use your TV remote and you'll be able to call up information on a band that you're watching on Top of the Pops, say, as you're watching it.
In fact, I think we've got a demo of that we can check out now.
Yeah, this is how Top of the Pops might look a few years from now. And you've got the icons that you can use to see what else is coming up in the programme. You can choose the charlatans and find out the latest band news, gossip about the band, where the record is in the chart. So it's looking very exciting.
What other things do you think that kind of interactivity can do for you as a viewer?
Well, already I'm starting as a viewer to feel less helpless. I'm starting to feel more in control of what I want to watch. I'm just not presented with a remote control that I can flip from one channel to another. I can make a difference to an individual programme. I'm a fan of motorcycle racing, for instance, and very often if I'm watching a Grand Prix, I'm watching first, second, third rider, Hungarian Grand Prix or something, and I actually want to be seeing what the best placed British rider is doing. I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 places back, and I want to see him overtake from 10th to 9th, and that opportunity is not there at the moment. But soon you'll be able to pick a channel with a different camera angle on it. Amazing. And I'll be able to watch one rider all the way through the race.
Who will that rider be?
It'll be Carl Fogarty for me.
Your hero. Well, Kevin, you're a programme maker yourself, so, you know, as a programme maker, what do you think the most exciting aspect of digital is?
Oh, well, I'm rubbing my hands with glee because more programmes on more channels means more work for people like me.
And us.
Hopefully, yes. But I think there is also going to be that trend to less specialness, I think, because fewer people will be watching individual programmes because so many more will be being made. Perhaps the stars of tomorrow won't be quite so big as they are today. There will be more minnows, fewer whales.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Kevin. Now, that's all from this special edition of Tomorrow's World, but we'll be back bringing you more from the digital future here on BBC Choice.
And don't forget, Tomorrow's World, every Wednesday at 7:30 on BBC One. Goodbye.
See ya.
Well, you're watching BBC Choice and we've got lots of firsts coming up, what with it being our first day and all. So with the first ever EastEnders and Monty Python, obviously, Terry Jones celebrates launches, pioneers and heroes. The first take is next.
Slipped up and missed the latest music festivals. Upset because you didn't catch your favourite sporting events. Cheer up. BBC Choice will change the way you watch music and sport with extended coverage of all your favourite events.
I bet even he can't believe it.
So you'll never have to miss out again. More sport, more music with extended coverage on BBC Choice.